We've got an update for a player that has been in the news for a while, and it's not for anything bad. Obviously, he's played well enough where deserves a contract extension. However, Brandon Aiyuk for the San Francisco 49ers has not been able to come to that agreement. Aiyuk has not been able to come to that agreement with the 49ers, and now it seems more likely than not he will be traded to one of a few interested parties. We're going to go to Lee DeLab now for some, I guess, an update on this particular story. Lee?
Yeah, that's right, Brady and LaVar. As of late last night, the 49ers have agreed on the frameworks for a deal with both the Browns and the Patriots for Brandon Aiyuk. It's now in his hands to work out a long-term contract and agree with terms with these teams, but the other teams that were in contention were the Commanders, who have officially removed themselves from trade talks, and the Steelers, who have not met what the 49ers are looking for in a trade talk. Many beat reporters have reported that the deal would likely also need to be involved with another veteran wide receiver in a swap.
Huh.
How the hell do the Browns have all this money to keep paying these dudes?
That's a great question.
Mary Kay Cabot says they could get under if they involve Amari Cooper in the deal.
Oh.
What does that mean? Get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
It would be a
swap. It'd be a swap.
Oh, that's not going to work. Come on now. I was just going to say, if you're adding Brandon Aiyuk with Amari Cooper to go with Jerry Jeudy, who they traded for, to go with Elijah Moore, who's there, their draft pick, I'm telling you, man, Jamari Thrash, that kid can play. He's going to be fun to watch. And Cedric Tillman and David Njoku. I mean, just throw it out there. One of your guys is there somewhere. Like I'm simplifying it, but damn. But if you're giving up Cooper, that's different. Because I love Amari Cooper. I think he's one of the more underrated wide receivers in the NFL, man. I would not do that.
Doesn't he have
deal.
a hard time staying healthy for an entire season, though?
Yeah. That's kind of true, I guess.
I just wonder if you were to do that, is the full-time Aiyuk better than the amount of time you have with Amari Cooper?
I mean, Cooper's gone over 1,000 yards 4 of the last 5 seasons. And
it's got to be.
Your point, he's been healthy for, I think, 2 of those or 3 of those.
I mean, do you see Aiyuk as a tremendous upgrade? I mean, he's younger, right? Isn't Aiyuk younger than
he's
Amari
much
Cooper?
younger.
Much younger,
he's
right?
off his rookie deal.
So you got to believe that maybe you're getting the type of player you want to have, and you're getting some longevity. I mean, I feel like it's a win now or go home scenario for the Cleveland Browns. At some point, they're going to have to make some hard decisions on some of these players just based upon some of the obvious deals going on there. I would assume. I could be wrong, but I mean, are they in win now mode? And if they are in win now mode, does that mean, okay, we swap out Amari Cooper to bring in Brandon Aiyuk, and that may be the type of player they feel puts them over the top with having the return of Messiah, of Randy, of Deshaun Watson. I mean, maybe that's what it is.
Is Cooper made the Pro Bowl last year, and he didn't have more yards, more receptions, or more touchdowns than Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk has not made the Pro Bowl.
That's a Plexico Burress debate. Plexico Burress was like one of the most productive receivers in the league for like 2-3 years, something like that, at least 2, and never made a Pro Bowl. And a lot of people say it was because he wasn't a player friendly dude. Like other players didn't like him, so they didn't vote for him.
I like him, and I don't really know him.
Yeah,
but I like him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a good
my
dude.
guy, man.
Yeah,
I might bump into him in South Bend every once in a while.
Oh yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
That's right.
And you'll bump into him on Saturdays. Otherwise too, you know what I mean. Jump up on a game. We'll start getting you on there a little more if you're available.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you look at why guys make the Pro Bowl and why other guys don't. Sometimes they get the benefit of the doubt because of their familiarity with people, and maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I just still find this Aiyuk exchange for Amari Cooper to be – it's a pretty – here's my thing. If I'm the 49ers, why would I have waited this long to do it? Like, did you feel like he was going to, change his mind, like take a a different angle. Like now you see some of the contracts that have been awarded to guys that maybe you could debate if they're better than Aiyuk or not, and they got paid, and now you realize that the market is the market, and you weren't going to pay what he wanted in the beginning, and you certainly aren't going to pay. I'm sure his number changed. I bet you Brandon Aiyuk's original number changed once some of these guys got their contracts. So, I mean, is that like, what do you think is the reason why now is the time you go ahead and let Brandon Aiyuk go in a trade?
I think there's 3 reasons for it. To your point, the 49ers most likely were never going to, within their cap structure, say, we're going to devote X amount of dollars to the wide receiver position or even Brandon Aiyuk. So at that point, they look at it and probably say, all right, we're not going to come to an agreement on a long-term deal anyway. So let's see if we can let this thing play out. Maybe there's some trade offers. Maybe we can convince his agent to come down on a number. Now, obviously, as you pointed out, as contracts have continually been signed, it's looked less and less likely that Aiyuk was going to want to take a discount. So they've stood strong with where they're at and trying to maximize his ability to go somewhere else and get the most money. I think that played a role. The probably divide between what Aiyuk and his team feel like he's worth or should be making and the 49ers. I think the next thing was a really good draft class of wide receivers. The draft class of wide receivers that brings in cheaper labor makes it harder for the 49ers and Aiyuk's team to find those destinations where there might be a need. So, for example, we're talking about the Browns being one of the teams that would look at, being involved in this trade. However, it'd be a swap in order to get Amari Cooper. And the trade-off there is, all right, the 49ers get back to having another guy they feel really good about on the outside. He's just up there in age. But, that player fits what they're looking for, at least in return, to compensate what they missed out on. The average annual value of the contract, I want to say somewhere around $20 million or something. I mean, Amari Cooper's numbers for this year are really, really reasonable. It's only about an $8.4 million cap hit. So if you're really looking at it from the 49ers standpoint, they lose a wide receiver, but they bring in a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver who's, very, very cheap. And that works.
Hey, you want to know what's funny?
Those are the situations they're looking for.
We didn't mention New England one time in the discussion. We kept it on Cleveland the entire time. Okay, all right, because I know we're up against it, but I thought it was kind of funny that we just, let's stay with Amari Cooper and let's stay with Cleveland because who's throwing the ball to him in New England? Is it going to be your guy Milton or is it going to be my guy Drake May? You know what I mean? You saw what I did there?
Some would say it's Lee and my guy.
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, you and Lee. Yeah.
No, but that's a wide receiver group that I think after the draft and after they kind of went through OTA's minicamp, some of these teams might be saying, hey, we still feel like we need something. The Steelers, I think, were one of the teams who was rumored to be in there. I want to say the Washington Commandos, too, were in there as well. So you got a number of teams who probably evaluated the roster and said, we could use his services. Can we work out a deal structure that works for all those parties? And that's where they're at now. And you're up against the cusp of really playing meaningful games. So that's kind of that deadline. But that's at least how I look at it. So.
Could he change their fortunes? Could Brandon Aiyuk be a player with the drafting of one of those quarterbacks being whatever it is they end up being for them at the starting position? Does a Brandon Aiyuk change the fortunes of the trajectory of the New England Patriots?
I think that he helps. Right, whether it's Drake May, Joe Milton, whoever, he helps. But I'm not sure, that roster. I mean, here's the hard thing about a roster that's like that. Because you've got some defensive players who are going to miss time, and then they've got some holes in their roster, clearly, as Elliott Wolf and Jerome Mayo try to build this thing back up. I don't know there's one player that's going to help them, get over the hump or compete in the AFC East the way they'd like to. I think they're a number of players away. So what's interesting is whoever you agree to a long-term deal you're paying a bunch of money to, it better make sense. I mean, you at least have this window of potential rookie quarterbacks on your roster to build the roster. So you better understand how you want to build that roster with the cap money that you've got. I mean, that's the one thing about Robert Kraft is he's not necessarily the cheapest. I mean, but he's not the guy who's going to spend a ton of money like Jimmy Haslam's looking to.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation, I think, for those guys to build back up that roster.
Be interesting to see where he ends up.
It will be.
He's probably going to be in San Fran.
Yeah.
Unless an injury occurs.
I think he's going to be somewhere else.
You're probably right.
End up happening,
You're probably right, but we'll see.